Diseases Agency. This is far from the tens of thousands of weekly COVID cases during the peak of the pandemic. Doctors CNA spoke to say one reason behind the rise could be a weaker immunity as the COVID strain mutates.
Majority of the patients actually have not been vaccinated since the past about 1 to 2 years, and most of them had the vaccine. The last vaccine, probably some it can be more than 2 years. And with the drop in the immunity of the COVID infection, they were more vulnerable.
According to the Health Ministry, anyone deemed as fully vaccinated against COVID-19 must have at least 2 doses of any of the vaccines under the World Health Organization's emergency use list. And even amid the rise in current COVID cases, local doctors are still following the Health Ministry's guidelines, and that's treating COVID as an endemic disease, just like the common flu. Doctors also cite other reasons for the rising cases.
Travel has increased without much checks, and many people think that COVID is over, and they're not testing themselves when they have COVID-like symptoms. A lot of the patients who are tested at our clinic was because they have company insurance coverage for COVID testing, and many other patients, they're not keen to pay for COVID testing.
While the current situation is under control, doctors still advise Singaporeans to be aware of their symptoms should they fall ill, and to seek treatment early.
If they can, actually try to isolate from their family members, which is actually the most vulnerable, and they spend the most time with them. So chances of passing on to family members and close friends, which is higher.
Doctors also advise people to wear face masks if and when feeling unwell.
Animal welfare organizations in Singapore are warning against the release of animals into the wild, which is a Vesak Day tradition. A wildlife rescue organization, ACRES, cautioned that although reports have declined, some cases may have just gone unreported.
Wildlife rescue organization ACRES has yet to receive any calls to raise suspicions of mercy release cases this year. Its chief executive officer, Kalai Vanan, says the decline could be a behavioral shift of a younger generation as they understand implications of such releases.
I must say that very often, one of the easiest animals, I think, to mercy release, they buy a lot of fish, they go out to the sea, or they find a very deserted spot where a canal or river is, they can easily do the mercy release. It's difficult to actually keep track of all this, and the animals will almost instantly die, and nobody might notice.
Dr. Sean Lam, who is a member of the Nature Society Singapore, says the dynamics of human-wildlife interactions may have changed over time. He says that such good intentions may instead have poor outcomes for the animals released. One Buddhist temple has come up with another way to include animals into their Vesak Day celebrations through a mass animal blessing ceremony. Organized by the Thekchen Choling Buddhist Temple, the event attracted more than 5,000 participants and their pets over the past 3 days. This is the highest attendance since the event started in 2022. This is the temple's effort to offer a modern, compassionate alternative to traditional animal release rituals. It has become so popular, a bigger venue was needed for the first time. It's now held at an open field at Serangoon, away from the temple compound in Jalan Besar. It has also collaborated with the Animal and Veterinary Service and other animal welfare organizations.
Our event has always been about animal welfare. We want to involve the groups that are really out there caring for the animals in society, the strays, the people who look after the welfare of the cats and dogs on the streets. We work with them to try to help the operations as well.
With a new tradition in the making, the temple hopes to continue this practice for years to come.
In the next hour on Asia First, a fragile ceasefire on the line as Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi demands Pakistan dismantle what he calls its terror infrastructure.
Plus, a sigh of relief as trade tensions between the US and China ease, and both sides agree to slash reciprocal tariffs for 90 days.
Oh, that trade relief is positioning Asian markets for gains today. Investors on Wall Street embraced risk, which put Nasdaq into bull market. And the focus shifts to Apple, one of the most prominent firms caught in the US-China tussle. We will have more on what the US president had to say about the tech giant.
Unlock the best of Europe and beyond. Visit Trafalgar.com.
Oh.
The weather brought to you by Trafalgar.
The United States was a beacon for Asian talent.
The United States has always been seen as the leading power in education and research.
But as Donald Trump's presidency crosses the 100-day mark, immigration crackdowns are rewriting how the world sees America.
Visa holders have sought re-entry into the United States and have been turned away.
Are Asian students and workers still attracted to America?
特朗普就因为一句话，我这条路走不了了。
Insight, Thursday on CNA.
This is Asia First.
It's 8 a.m. here in Singapore. Good morning. I'm Julie Yu. Our top story this hour. A breakthrough that has sharply de-escalated a punishing trade war and lifted global markets. The U.S. and China agreed to slash reciprocal tariffs for 90 days. Beijing sees the trade deal as a huge win for the country. U.S. President Donald Trump touts what he calls a total reset to China, saying talks with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping could follow soon. Our U.S. stocks surged higher on Wall Street as investors cheer the tariff truce. I'm Elizabeth Newell with your business news. Big tech behind the big gains. Magnificent Seven firms added more than $800 billion to their valuations, one of the largest collective moves higher for the group on record.
I'm Arnold Gay. Also this morning, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi warns of a befitting response in the event of any future terrorist attacks, saying his country has only suspended its military action against Pakistan. And Hamas releases what's believed to be the last surviving American hostage in Gaza, saying it's a goodwill gesture to the U.S. leader who is in the region this week.
The de-escalation in U.S.-China trade war has lifted Wall Street to new heights, with investors now optimistic that the uncertainty surrounding those tariffs may have already peaked. The Dow and the S&P 500 marked their highest levels since March, and on top of that, the S&P 500's 3% surge is its third biggest jump in the past 5 years. Compare that to where it was when President Trump's tariff announcements on April the 2nd tanked the markets. The S&P 500 had clawed back those post-tariff losses on May 2nd. At about 5,800 overnight, the index has been steadily climbing back to where it was before the reciprocal tariffs. The tech-heavy Nasdaq, too, is back into a bull market just a month after it dropped 20% from its most recent record. Apple, Amazon, and Nvidia at the forefront of those gains, and collectively, the Magnificent Seven has added more than $800 billion in market cap overnight with the new US-China deal, cutting tariffs, removing uncertainties for the supply chains of US big tech. And the rush into risk assets has seen money flow out of safe havens. US bond yields hit their highest levels in a month. The yen has tumbled to a 5-week low, and gold fell more than 3%. And we take a look now at the market open in Asia. Also, positive trade there with the Nikkei leading the way higher by more than 1%. The rest of